Hey guys, so after our independent reading today, I'm going to have you guys complete your independent reading log. And I noticed the last couple of times that I had you do this, some of you are doing an exceptional job while other people are still not sure of the expectation. So I want to just provide some samples just so you can see exactly what I'm looking for here. I decided to use the text hatchet since we're all pretty closely familiar with it to summarize chapter 16 specifically. So we have the words here in this graphic organizer: someone, wanted, but, so, and then. And these are just prompting us the areas in which we should be summarizing, okay? So first and foremost, the someone. Who was the story about? In chapter 16 of Hatchet, Brian Robeson, then the wanted, says, what did he or she want? Wants to survive in the Canadian wilderness. But what was the problem? Unfortunately, he encounters both a moose and a tornado in this chapter. They destroy everything that Brian has made at this point. So, how did he or she try to solve the problem? Brian gains the confidence to start all over again from scratch. He knows that feeling sorry for yourself doesn't work. Then, how is the problem resolved? Then, in the end of the chapter, Brian realizes that all he had at the beginning was the hatchet, and that's all he has now. Brian successfully rebuilds his camp. Okay, so as you can see, you can use this template, this graphic organizer, to help you come up with a good, solid, great quality summary that will be used as one of your assignments. So for today, I'm going to have you guys work under, well, if you're my 621 class, you're going to be working under Wednesday, and if you're 623, 22, or 24, you'll be working under the Thursday section. So whatever day it is, you're going to read for, however much time I tell you, and then you'll do this as your independent reading log. So this is how to create a quality summary. So I'll always attach this whenever we do a reading log. Hey guys, so moving on to the assignments, as you can see, the first one says, write a 1-paragraph summary of what you've read today. So we just went over a way that you can go about recording your summary for each day that you read. Here's a sample. It's not exactly the same format as the one that I showed you, but it's still going to suffice because it's well in. Remember, with you don't too much detail. It's kind of so far within the chapter. So it says, I book posted. Notice how it's italicized. From what I read today, I recommend how much in the beginning of grade, Eric really good friends, and a trip they met, they worked each other together throughout 6th and 7th grade. At the page, I read left a sticky note and a blocker. So as you can see, it's not too much information. It's giving us who, and it's giving us the what's happening, etc. Not exactly the same format as the graphic organizer that we just went over, but this is really good. You get not too much detail. Some people are putting too much detail summaries. So if you get this, it's simple. You don't need to read it away at every single detail. Okay? Move to the next. Sorry, it's a little slow. Okay, this one is for the quote. So it says, choose an important quote and round, explain why it resonates with you. They'll all stand by you to the last breath. Notice how it's quotation marks because it's a quote. This quote resonates with me because it reminds my life in the past. It makes me stood up for people and people who stood up for me. So if you pick this, you want to make sure that you put the quotes in quotation marks and make sure you have capital letters at the beginning of your sentences and periods so that they're quality. Okay? Move on to the next. Again, sorry, there's a little bit of a lag. I have a lot of things open. Okay, here's the next one. Prediction. It says, write a prediction in the book. I predict that women are selling the most posters. What's the first place prize? The original skateboard got lost in a river, and the first place prize was a brand new skateboard. Okay, so here you have prediction, again, capital letters, periods at the end. Moving on to the next sample. This one is for the words. So it says to list and define 4 words you learned from the reading. She has trout, then she had a page number, and it says an annoying or bad-tempered old person. She has the word indignant, which is actually one of the words that we had from one of our novels this year. I believe it was Refugee on page 132, but it's saying that the definition showing either unfair treatment. So we know her, but she, added it to the list. Maybe she forgot. Next word is potpourri, a mixture of dried petals and spices placed in a bowl or small sack to perfume clothing or room. And lastly, we have taekwondo, which is a modern Korean martial art similar to karate. I also want to point out that the students, you're supposed to be putting the book title up here. So she's reading Eleanor and Park, which we actually heard this book talk this year by one of my 8th grade students. It's in PDF, which means that link on my Google Classroom where you can just get the entire book right there if you don't have access to a library card. And I recommend this one. The girl who book talked it said it was really good, about a friendship, and they're just kind of like odd, and it might turn into romantic, I forget, but it's supposed to be really cute. So definitely check that one if you're not sure you're going to read it yet. And at the bottom here, make sure that you put the page number. For example, she read from page 70 to 144 in the time allotted today. So that's really cool. Some people will be reading less than that time. She obviously, is an reader. So depending on your reading speed and how well your reading level, your page numbers will vary. Just make sure you mark down your numbers down here. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is going to be a connection. So it says to describe a connection you made to the text. You can do text to text, text to self, text to media, text to world. So this student wrote, I made a connection to Alex's record because in last season, him and his team won every game, and the next season, he lost every game. This happened to me and my team when we went 8-0-1, and TRIC forced us to move up and play with older kids. That season, we lost almost every game. Okay, so being able to empathize and make that connection when you read is important. So that's definitely a good one to pick. When your inner reading voice goes off and if you're like, hey, that reminds me of me, or that reminds me of whatever, make sure you jot that down, and then you can use that as your entry for the day. The last one is this one's the picture, which I really only want you to do like one of these a week. Don't do the picture every time. I know a lot of you are artists and you enjoy doing the imagery, but I want to make sure that you only do it once a week. And when you do it, I want to make sure that you explain what the imagery is. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, you have this beautiful picture which she uploaded. I have also had people set in a separate attachment, but I really like how she was able to edit. This makes it easier for into this. It says this drawing is based on the book Roald Dahl's Ghost Stories. It says she was a 5-year-old and it was a day. She the garden as she often did. I saw her on her Sunday laying on the grass picking daisies and making daisy chains with laborious pleasure. The sun burned on her pale red hair and made her skin look very white. Her big blue eyes were widening with concentration. So I think this is a really awesome depiction of a quote from the story. And as obviously she was reading the book and read that quote, she had in her mind the imagery that popped up, and she was able to create a picture, just like we've done with the clay, just like we did with artwork previously in the school year. So if you do choose that, Look at the integrity that this student put into it, okay? So make sure you put integrity, make sure you explain or find the quote that prompted you to draw this. You are not just submitting a drawing. So the purpose of today's class is basically to make sure you understand your expectation that when you read, you are to mark down the page numbers, you are to make sure that, I'm going to scroll up, you put the book title. So this student did not, and it's not letting me type in there now because I'm in the middle of Screencastify, but you would write Roald, oh no, it is going to like Roald Dahl's book. I don't think it's going to let me. I think I'm lying. But anyway, you would write up there Roald Dahl's Book of Good Stories. Okay? And then, of course, you provide page number as well. In addition to that, should you include the drawing and the quote. So everything that you do in independent reading logs is graded. These are graded assignments, and it's all part of your participation grade. So please make sure that you do this, you attempt it, you know what the expectation is at this point. We are going to have a final project on independent reading books that we're working on currently. So it's going to be, something fun, like some kind of digital art project. But just be ready for that. We are going to be doing conferencing, so that's this class period all about. Basically, you guys are going to watch the Screencastify watching first. Then you guys are going to log into the Google Meet. Everyone needs to log in for a grade. If you don't log in, you're going to get a miss a day. Oh, look. That's how slow my computer is now. Here we go. Yes. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't know if you just saw that the book finally popped up later. Anyway, so we're going to make sure that you is after you log into the Google Meet, I'm going to mute yourself. You're going to wait for me to call on you. When I call on you, we're going to conference about your book, which again is going to be classwork grade. And as long as you're able to answer questions from the Screencastify, and as long as you're able to answer questions at the beginning of your book, we're going to fill out the diagram chart together, and that's going to be your class grade for today, the comp grade. So please make sure that you show up so that you don't get a missing for the day, because today's class period will be crucial. Okay, we needed to just check in with you, make sure you're understanding your books. We know what your questions are. So it's very important under requirement, and I don't always do that, like offer flexibility to you guys, because I know your life is different. Everyone has a different circumstances, and some people are sharing computers, etc. But for today, I need you to definitely log into the Google Meet, no questions. So when I call on you for the conference, you need to be present, okay? Otherwise, you'll get a missing. Got it? So that being said, you just saw some example on what this should look like. This is here for you in case you need to use it as a reference and check back in with what your finished product of independent reading log should look like. Hope this helps. I'll see you in the conference. Bye, guys.